Repco Rally is organised by the Jaguar Drivers Club of Australia and is recognised as the most difficult and challenging of its type in the country. In fact, it's the only classic historic rally for vehicles made before 1975. This is the second year of the rally in which 95 classic and thoroughbred cars are driven around a 1,500 kilometre course in New South Wales and the ACT. Parramatta Park on a brisk autumn day in May, the start of the 1992 Repco Mountain Rally. First away is the 1961 Porsche 356B, driven by John Macy and Keith Champion. The Porsche is last year's outright winner, so this pair are under a lot of pressure.
Looks like a beautiful day.
It's a lovely day.
And I guess we just got to relax and get into the swing of things. We don't expect any wonders. We're going in for a nice, good, enjoyable time.
3, 2, 1, roll, and we're on our way for the 1992 Repco Rally.
This 1971 E-Type V12 was badly damaged on the way to the rally.
A bit of a problem yesterday, but we're it's running hard. Hopefully get back to the end of the rally.
Harry and Pamela Thomas are hoping for better luck. This diminutive A30 has come from Queensland, driven by Don Bigger and Graham Brown. So it's your first big rally outing then, first outing in a rally for this car. How do you think you'll go?
I think we'll probably be towards the back of the field, but we'll be having a lot of fun.
Just as tiny, the Hillman Imp, driven by the Swan family from Melbourne.
We're at Parramatta now, but we've got to head off down to Canberra. So we'll be heading off down around that area there, I would think, through there, and possibly...
Are you sure?
No.
Oh, okay.
And this is a classy event, as demonstrated by the Studebaker driven by Rob Everett and his lordship, Greg Clancy.
That's Lord Gregory.
How do you do?
I'm very well, thank you.
Very pleased to meet you, my lord.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Well, it appears to me you'll be travelling in style, if nothing else.
Very comfortable car. We're in a team called the Bone Rattlers, which upset us a little bit. My lord spent a lot of money on this car, and it's quite smooth to travel in. But thank you for your good wishes, and we hope to do well.
Well, we don't expect to see you amongst the first 5, I think. Perhaps...
No, we're going to win. We're out to win.
Found it in the back of a barn here in Parramatta, covered in the proverbial chooks and stuff.
Six Minis are taking part in this year's rally. Colin and Joanna Ware have swapped roles. He's navigating and she's driving. So you're feeling pretty confident?
Well, I'm confident in my husband.
Well, they tell me it's a very quick way of getting divorced. But it's usually the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah, I was navigating and he was driving, and we nearly got divorced on our honeymoon.
So you're going to be exclusively driving this time?
Absolutely.
Another second-timer, the Sunbeam Tiger, driven by Malcolm Clark. Last year, it was damaged at Bathurst.
We straightened the wall out at Mount Panorama, but we got the car fixed up again, and we're roaring to get back in this rally and prove that the Tigers can shine. And
Valencia on its way. Good luck to the Spears. Take care. Car 63, 55 TR2.
Now, it's perfectly obvious from what we've seen today that most of the people taking part in this rally are stark, staring mad. I mean, just look at the hats, the ridiculous badges, the nostalgic vestigial decor, the endless conversations about head gaskets and front suspensions. They've inflicted these cars on people in the city, and now they're going to take them into the bush. On the road, heading out into country New South Wales, Peter Griffin in the cream Mercedes-Benz 190 SL. Later in the rally, some people would be wondering what he really had under the hood of this classic.
We can't believe our luck at this stage that we're leading.
Good morning, my dear.
Another rare bird, the red Bristol 403, driven by Bob and Glenda Leffler. British cars dominate the Repco, but that's probably because there are more marks of British cars. This is Alan Bear from Sydney in his 1955 TR3. Even at this stage of the rally, it was obvious that some people were very serious about it. Did this Mini, for example, have an afterburner? The first major control outside Sydney at Wallachia. This Porsche 911 is having its shakedown run in preparation for next year's London to Sydney Marathon. Behind the wheel, Norbert Weisenbeek, and navigating Argentinian Danny Castro. He's the one with the moustache.
Okay, good night.
The red and black Austin Healey 104 was damaged in last year's race when it ran out of road. Jeff Leake and Phil West are looking for better luck this time. Another British classic, the 1964 Sunbeam Tiger. The red Mini is driven by Wendy and David Wheatley, the leading husband and wife team last year. And if you're wondering what it's like in a Mini at speed, this is a Minicam view.
What's the traffic, fellas? Have a lolly.
Don't worry about that. You came in from the wrong direction. Thank you.
No way.
Has there been many coming the wrong way?
Good. Right. Now.
Among all these big bangers was a nondescript saloon from Solihull in England. The Rover V8 is the sort of car that country doctors drive, but this one is anything but standard. This much modded machine is being entered in the London-Sydney Marathon, by which time Darky will have got his licence back.
Not bad. I like those bits. It's good and warm.
Yep, have some jelly babies.
Oh, you're a good girl.
Hi, how are you? Smile.
By lunchtime on the first day, the navigators were suffering the biggest headaches. When they first looked at the map back in Parramatta, it looked confusing. But it got worse. It was all part of a plot by the man who drew up the map, Jeff Bott. The Bott plot saw the end of most navigators' hopes of a mountain cup. Still, there were some consolations. Everybody got a boiled lolly or jelly babies. But to remind us that this is an Australian rally, there were some locally manufactured vehicles, like the 67 GTXR driven by Lawson Abbott and Glenn Davis.
Thank you. Bye.
This last checkpoint before reaching the old Parliament House was manned by the MG Car Club of Canberra. Doug and Robin Partington in the Dino Ferrari followed the Falcon in. Only 14 crews found all the passage controls and answers for the morning, all with some loss of time. The afternoon run to Canberra was easier, although some failed to find the end of the average speed section because they took a wrong fork at Lark Hill.
We did fair. We dropped half an hour somewhere, we got lost. By the time we found ourselves, we were too far behind to catch up.
Well, we were in a rut today. We missed a major control. I'm not sure which one it was, but we missed it. But a couple of here and there's, but we've sorted ourselves out, and I think we've done a lot better than we did last year.
Tomorrow morning when we stand up and read that little bit of paper on the board, that'll tell the story.
We're way down the field. Not quite as good as last year. My navigator might enlighten you a bit more.
It's the driver. The driver was the problem, basically. Every time I said go left, he went right. So, I mean, what can you do, honestly?
But it was a lot of fun. It really was.
Who said?
And so the positions at the end of day one. The 1932 Rolls followed suit with, if nothing else, a great deal of style. Number 29 identifies David Wheatley in the Morris Cooper S. More of the same in the Saab V4, one of two Saabs in the rally. Saabs make fighter planes too, which may explain the number plate. Earl Carter, who knows a lot about Saabs, showed considerable expertise on four wheels and sometimes on three.
Oh, yeah, no, that was a terrific run. I don't know how we went though. I mean, this car doesn't sort of match Pontiacs, and even there's some pretty hot minis there, which is giving me a bit of a problem. But you know, we still got the motor carter and the skid pan, which I think we should be able to do. But these minis, I tell you, they're like blowflies. They're all over us. I can't handle it.
Earl was a hard act to follow, especially in the wet, but Bruce Partington, a rising young star in the NASCAR ranks, threw his sprint around as if he'd been doing it all his life. Graham O'Connor was to have the 5th fastest time in his Lancia Fulvia. The Blue Lotus Elan 2+2 was a late entrant driven by Ken Philp and Tony Galletley. They were to have entered Ken's Lancia, but it wasn't ready in time. Another hot Mini. Peter Edwards finished second in the Motorcana. He's always competitive, even if he does a bit of lateral thinking now and again. Never fast, but driven with dignity, was an Aussie classic, Bill Spellman in the Holden FJ. Hannes Schwarten's Lancia nearly took to the woods. Les Wright's glass fibre-bodied Daimler SP250, which dates back to 1959. Bruce Partington again in the Falcon Sprint, which had only just been completed in time for the rally. And more smoke and flame when Bruce decided he'd had enough of the track and went bush. Meanwhile, John Mills was conducting his own symphony in slow motion, quietly pushing his classic MG TD. And on it went, with Europas, Imps, Studebakers and MGs. Surely the greatest assembly of classics ever seen in Australia. After all, what's the point of owning a car like this if you don't drive it? But some people were having trouble. Brad O'Connor, in his red Pontiac Firebird, was having fuel pump problems and didn't do as well as he'd hoped at the police driving centre. Then it was time for some more spit and polish before the next hurdle.
Timing starts when the front of the car breaks the beam.
This is a tricky 2 kilometre circuit which includes bends, crests, a gully and adverse cambers. Competitors were given 2 runs. The overall winner was the most consistent performer.
Oh.
And so the placings at the end of day 2. Day 3, and dawn breaks over Canberra, heralding the good weather which blessed this year's rally. Ron Imey in the Alpha Spider was first to lead.
Well, I think we basically just keep our nose clean. We learned a few lessons yesterday about how to behave ourselves on the road, particularly in the presence of radar. So we won't be looking for those kind of unnecessary penalties tomorrow or today. And keep our nose clean, find everywhere, and see you at the finish.
Also leaving the Pavilion Hotel, Brad O'Connor in the Big Firebird, who's been working on a few impromptu repairs.
Oh, well, last night we just had to work on the car a bit because we broke a fuel pump, but we got to go now. She's going hard.
Yeah, fix the muffler. We had the baffles break loose inside the muffler.
Yeah,
we put a 4-inch bolt through that.
Had a good day yesterday at the speed events. That was great.
Jeff Leake in the Healy has also been having some trouble, this time with large marsupials.
Well, we have it all together. We split all the sump yesterday, so we've repaired that overnight. And we're ready to roll.
Worried about the kangaroos.
Yeah, kangaroos, and making sure it doesn't lose oil. Yeah. Otherwise, she's running really well. Been good day. No mistakes today. We were going to do it.
Clean sheet.
Clean sheet, yeah, that's
no
the go.
pit stops, nothing.
Yeah. Going to be marvellous.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
But Lord Gregory's brown bowler was scarcely dented, and Bill Kopp did a stately parade down to the War Memorial with Lady Leonie, Christine the Maid and Lord Richard. What a swank! But then at least standards are being maintained somewhere. The Healy and the Alpha Spider were among the leaders. Graham and Rona Smallwood manned the Cooma checkpoint.
We've got about 39 cars through so far, so I can't tell whether they're on time or not, because I don't know what time they're supposed to be.
Ian and Val Swan from Melbourne in the restored Hillman Imp are still very much in the race. So is Richard Gray in the TR2, which sadly later crashed. The MG V8 is proudly owned by Stuart and Susie Yonkles. They've run in 3 Grand Prix rallies, and Stuart's an ex-president and life member of the MG Car Club. In another MG, the rally's first all-woman team, Diane Mellon and Gillian Fay. Just to keep things legal, the rally had its own radar unit to remind the competitors they were using public roads.
Lovely gesture.
Some heavy metal from the old Dart, the Aston Martin DB6 driven by Tom Kornhaber with navigator Max Lubke. A control point near Dalgety in the beautiful New South Wales Southern Highlands, and the Lotus 2+2 driven by rally leaders Ken Philp and Tony Galletly. Today, Tony consolidated his position, losing only 2 points. And here are those Coopers again, leading another British classic, the Red Bristol of Bob and Glenda Leffler. The Bristol's running in the middle of the field, but what style!
Okay, how's the Cream MT doing at the back here?
A pit stop, or is it a kid's stop? These 21 students from the Dalgety Public School had to answer a question from competitors for which they'd receive a donation. The Gremlins struck twice at Peter Edwards in the Mini Cooper S. Last year he dropped out with a broken constant velocity joint. This year he was lying third on day 3, but cracked the head of his engine and once again had to withdraw. But what ails this XK140? Any number of things can go wrong with a 40-year-old car, but in this case Frank Horwood and Stuart Ratcliffe have simply run out of petrol.
Yep.
And so on to Adaminaby, with Frank van der Worm in the immaculate metallic blue Sebring Healy. And by lunchtime, it's time to reflect after one of the more picturesque drives of the rally.
Controls right up here on the Jaguar.
Yeah, but you didn't have to take the shortcut road.
Yeah.
What do you want me to tell you about it?
Yeah, it's a quick one.
Well, the car was built for Fords.
I've only just dropped about 1 minute all morning. I think I was quite happy with this morning's run, and I just hope this afternoon I can do just as good.
We're going much better today than what we were on the first day. I think we're running at a nice position of the field. After the first day we're running 15th, which is not too bad, and we're pretty happy with today's result. So the next few days will sort it out.
I'm cursing at the moment. We're cursing because we missed the passage control. We didn't take the shortest possible route. So that was from being 5th overall on yesterday, I guess we're going to go down to about 10th or 15th. Otherwise, or less. Otherwise, we might be lucky. We don't know yet.
Don't crash the drive, you'll get out of the way.
Don't step backwards.
No, don't.
It's the big cross rock, and I saw the little angle drive. I think this is amazing.
A rare sight on a public road anywhere in the world, but this just happens to be Australia, and a testimony to our classic car movement. Heading towards Tumut, a Porsche 911, an E-Type Jaguar, and an earlier Porsche 356.
MTA hardtop, followed closely by a BMW.
Thank you guys.
Very competitive.
No worries, weekend.
That was the fastest car.
We made it, thank God for that. Blew a gasket, but I think it'll be all right.
The rally settles down in Tumut for the night, and before everybody retires, there's the mandatory amount of tinkering. The placings at the end of day 3. Day 4, and Tony Smeaton is doing a quick cut and polish on the white 3.4 Jaguar. Other drivers are ready for the off, although some are not quite sure where they are.
It's a start in the right direction. Does anyone know?
We're trying to find out which is north.
We're not too sure whether they're going to wind up in Queensland or where the hell we're going to get today, but we'll get there. It's easy with an open top car, you just leave the maps fly out the door and that's it, you see.
We blew up seized our speedo, and then that broke the cable, and then front wheel starting clouting the guards, and so we raised it 1.25 inches, got a speedo cable in, and it's going very well there.
We're coming 6th at the moment, but we made a bit of a blunder yesterday, which my navigator assures me, because he doesn't want to walk home from Sydney to Brisbane, that he's going to fix up today, and we will come back.
I think we'll be well down the list today. We started up yesterday as well.
Did you have a problem with it?
No, no problems with control. We just went a long way out of our way. We went mountaineering.
But you had a lovely drive.
Fantastic. I don't know why you didn't go that way.
That was the sad thing, Doug. The roads yesterday were the best roads we've come across in 2 rallies, and of course everywhere we looked there were amphometers, so we couldn't really enjoy them as much as we would have liked, because they were great roads.
By now, Colin Wilson-Brown and Peter Hammond are running second in the DB6, while Tony Galletly in the Lotus is still leading.
Window open. All going good.
Yep, unreal. We're working it out.
How's it going, Doug? Good to see you.
Good morning. 23:07. Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you, guys. See you later. See you. Good day. Thank you. Bye.
All along the route, competitors were cheered and given directions by the local school kids. Almost a lesson in itself in automotive history. For some drivers, like Malcolm Clark, this was all too much. At one country school, the children turned out to give John Shaw's 140 the right directions. And yes, son, that car really was made 36 years ago in Coventry, England. By mid-afternoon, some crews were going around in circles, hoping to find the correct approach to a couple of points. This run from Tumut to Cowra proved too much for some of the cars. Jeff Leake, Alan Shepherd and Peter Edwards all retired with engine trouble, and Ashley Talbot in the TR2 had a serious accident.
smoke window.
The smallest school visited was the Erawanbang Public School with just 17 students. This impressed the rally photographer Ron Imey so much that he was forced to kiss the ground. Or was it the sump on the Alpha?
How's it going, Ron?
I hope I've got a sump left. They've been giving it a hell of a hiding.
This Mark IV Jaguar lost a Welsh plug, so Bob improvised by using part of the handle from a hammer which was bashed up into the hole. This worked quite well until Bathurst, although it caught fire on more than one occasion and they had to extinguish it. And with the shadows lengthening, there were some other sad stories. Earl Carter in the Saab, who gave such a good display at the Motorcana, has made an error in navigation that has cost him a place in the top 10. His wife Wanda only forgave him on the awards night, when they kissed and made up.
How's it going?
We're losing. We just went at WD. We've stuffed them right up. Triple darling, Canada.
Finally, the end of a long day's drive and a night stop at the cradle of Australian motor racing, Bathurst.
Number 6, point sheet of the morning. We'll tell you how you went this afternoon. This afternoon, we know we did. Why don't you drop the couple? Never mind.
Right, what do you want to play?
All
good. Put it on the red.
We're only just laughing, I'll tell you. That was a big day.
Yeah, it was a tough one, that.
The top 20 cars changed places quite dramatically, with David and Margaret Clark in the Triumph TR5 cruelly robbed of their lead because of a protest by a lower-ranked competitor about an ambiguity in the route instructions. So, by Wednesday night, Tony Galletli in the Lotus was back at number 1, with the Clark second, Doug Partington in the Ferrari Dino third, the Bar Smith Rover fourth, and Colin Wilson-Brown's DB6 in 5th place. Mount Panorama is host to 3 events: the hill climb, the standing 1/5 of a mile sprint, and a new event, the slalom. In the hill climb, the cars had 2 runs and were judged on both speed and regularity. Ian Minter in the Lamborghini had a simple plan for regularity: just drive as fast as you can. Ian won a swag of trophies and came first to Brad O'Connor's Firebird and Peter Griffith's 190 SL, which later turned out to have been fitted with a 30-year-old supercharger. But it was the 1/5 of a mile sprint event which brought out the Muglares. E-Type against Healy. Cortina against Sprite.
Healy's away first this time. He might just hold the Cortina, having got that start on him.
Firebird against Falcon Sprint. Peter Thompson's Sunbeam Tiger won the new event, the slalom, with Peter Griffin's 190 SL, now sporting aero screens, in second place.
Jaguar number 92, 92, the Mark 5. The one and only.
And at the end of the day, the weather finally broke. This was probably as good a time as any to assess where everybody stood.
Steady as we go this morning, and just hope that we get home in the top 5, and I'm sure we'll be happy.
We're third at the moment. We're third, which means the pressure's on. The car in front of us is about 200 in front of us, and we've got to catch him somehow.
We're coming 6th. Where were we? Lost.
We're 4th.
We were 4th. No, but then we thought we were 20th, and now we're 6th. So that's not so bad.
Fantastic. We're running 11th, but we'd like to just get in the top 10 if we could.
Well, last year we were 3rd or 4th on the last day, I forget which, and we finished up 8th. So we're a little bit nervous. We'd like to go the opposite direction this year. Like to go up rather than down.
Be glad when it's all over.
But no, we've had a good run through it.
Yeah.
And no problems.
No problems. Got all the controls and all the questions so far, so
Just went a bit late.
But hope we'll do the same thing today, and we'll be up there when we get to
up there somewhere at the end.
43 we finished last year, and we had a goal to finish, and we had a goal to finish up in the 20s, but to be starting the last day in 8th is fantastic.
Friday dawned wet and miserable, which made the last 230 kilometres to the finish at Lura a little more difficult. This run included some tricky bits around Oberon, but at the end of the day the position of the 3 leading cars was unchanged, apart from Doug and Robin Partington in the Ferrari Dino. They started the morning 3rd outright, but missed one of the passage controls and ended up running 5th.
Number 43.
That was even worse than last year. How was the bot clock? The bot clock? I think it's going very well. What happened to the easy bit?
I hope it's got it reserved at his cemetery.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Number 28. Morning, how are you?
Really good, thanks.
You going good?
Yeah, got everything.
11:03:15.
Thank you.
See you
Bye. See you later.
Well, most of the rest of the field made it despite the wet. Even the little blue Austin A30 stayed the course. Of the 98 cars which started, only 5 didn't make it. And at the end of it all, what was this rally about? Some people were obviously in it to win, but others were simply there for the joy of driving a real motor car and the delicious indulgence of simply competing.
You made it. Survived.
I'm freezing, but I'm wrapped.
Miraculously, we came across this crossroad that appeared on my map. Aha! Not lost at all, we said.
We will get it right next year. We'll get it right next year.
Fantastic. We've had a great time. We weren't as fast as we thought, but we had a ball.
Well, the best way to sum it up is probably to say I'm sorry that it's over. I was just starting to get to the stage of understanding the navigation.
Learn anything?
How to navigate.
How to navigate, how to drive, how to keep you cool, how to be nice, how to enjoy ourselves. That's what we learned.
We'll definitely be back again, no doubt.
And for just being jolly good people. Navigators and drivers, I think you're fantastic.
Tony Gillespie and Ken Phillips in the
And so the conclusion to a great week's rallying. Dinner at the Hydro Majestic. Gillespie and Philp in the Lotus are the winners. And Senator Michael Bohm makes the presentation. That's enough of rallying for 1 year. But next year, most of the drivers in this room will do it all over again. And so the final results. In first place, car 11. The Lotus Elan of Philp and Gillespie lost 41 minutes, 13 seconds. Second, car 28. The Triumph TR5 of David and Margaret Clark lost 58 minutes, 38 seconds. Third, car 43. The Rover V8 P6 of Tom and Darky Barr Smith lost 1 hour, 39 minutes. Fourth, car 83. The Alpha Spider of Hamish Duff and Ron Imey lost 1 hour and 48 minutes. And fifth, car 18. The Ferrari Dino of Doug and Robin Partington lost 2 hours, 2 minutes.